it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, it's there.
Hello, and I'm sorry it's been a while since my last video, but it does take some time to actually make the things. One thing I actually want to go into is why it takes me a long time to do things. It's not so much the difficulty of it. All the coding for this was done in about half an hour. What? Camtasia sucks on Windows 7. I redid my entire color screen and my custom buttons and everything. Just sucks. Oh, what the hell is it? Virus protection, yeah. Windows update, make it backup, whatever. Maybe later. Okay, back to the video. It only took like about a half hour. The video will only take whatever recording time plus maybe 5 minutes for editing. Most of the editing is automatic, which is cool. But Windows 7 does not make it too much easier, unfortunately. Camtasia works a lot better on Vista. So if you're actually thinking about paying for it for Windows 7, don't. So actual campaign missions. Prerequisites for this, I added a third level, and the level select screen now goes up to 3, and the sprites for the level select screen need to be a little bit duplicated. You need to have a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, and a black and white version of level 2 and level 3, or grayscale, whatever you want to call it, and you will need a sprite that's like mission complete, stage complete, objective complete, something to that extent. Go crazy. Whatever you want to do. And then we only have to make a couple more objects, actually 4, and one of which you can duplicate, and I'll show you how. And we're going to need to do a little bit of changing, I do believe. Or no, we need some more objects too. Actually a good amount of objects. So last time we did multiple stages and how to make a stage select screen. Pretty simple. This time we're going to be doing it with a little bit more buttons, and we're going to be checking like campaigns. So you will unlock 2 only after you finish number 1. Now for number 1, what you have to do is kill all the enemies. So I'll name this object level complete unit, or level underscore complete underscore unit. And what this does is we only have a step event. And in the step event, it has an if statement with the function instance underscore exists. It has if instance underscore exists in parentheses attack underscore spot and parentheses equals false. What this does is it just checks if the instance exists, and the instance being attack underscore spot. And if you did not have equals false, it would just be checking if it was true. By adding the equals false, it checks if it's false. You do not need to add equals true if you're ever checking that. So for instance, if you wanted to do your mission is to build a oil refinery, if it's like a tutorials type mission, or maybe you have upgradable buildings, or not upgradable buildings, a really advanced building that takes a lot of resources, then you do if instance exists, whatever instance it is, and just leave it at that. You wouldn't need the equals true or equals false. And then we have the with function, which means, first of all, attack underscore spot. That's the spot that our units attack. It is created every step by every kind of enemy. So what this one campaign mission is to destroy all the enemies. I just put one of my sitting duck enemies. It doesn't move, it just attacks and dies. Which makes it easy to do beta testing. You don't actually want that in the real game unless it's a turret. So we have with scrolling, which is our object that keeps the screen at the center. By changing it, we will not be able to use the mouse to scroll around the map. It's basically making the entire level ineffective anymore. You can still do stuff, but it won't really matter. With scrolling, instance underscore change, so we won't have it, and into an object mission underscore complete comma true. True just means we do the create event, of course, and it's not going to change anything. So Then we have global.level plus equals 1, which is another way of saying global.level equals global.level plus 1. Then we have with, in parentheses, self being itself, instance underscore destroy, so it destroys itself. So what this object does is it tests whether or not you meet a certain goal, and if you meet that goal, then it will create mission complete, and it'll set your level to a 1 higher. Now we have mission underscore tracker, which it is persistent, not visible, and not solid. It doesn't need a sprite. And in its create event, all we have is global.level equals 1. And we just go ahead and put that right on the main menu, whatever your first one is in the corner, because it's persistent. It'll be in the same spot in every room with the same variable. And what that'll do is enable you to what's it saying? Keep track of which mission you're on in a global variable. So it doesn't really store the variable, it just sets it in the beginning. Then we have level underscore complete underscore or. This is another type of campaign mission. This is a check variable campaign. Instead of checking for an object, we check a variable. If lives is greater than or equal to 300, lives in this engine is or. Score is fuel or oil. You can, or if you want to use a global variable for fuel or oil, you can, just as long as you have a variable. You could also have a variable every time an enemy dies. It does a variable number 1. You just have to make an object for that. It's very simple. And then you can check that. Or every time it dies, it changes a global variable. When the global variable reaches something, reset the global variable, and you're done. So this is how you check a variable campaign mission. And you do the same. The other code is exactly the same, only the if statement changes. So use your what you know about GameMaker and if statements and the functions I've shown you in order to come up with things like that. That's how to do a building campaign mission, a killing campaign mission, and a variable campaign mission. Then we have mission underscore complete. What this does is it centers itself. Y minus equals 64. And then we have 3 instance underscore creates. Instance underscore create in parentheses x comma y plus 64 comma go to menu. And then the same thing with x minus 128 comma y plus 64 go to stage. And then x plus 128 comma y plus 64 comma go to next. And those are 3 different objects. You can see the code right there. And we have the objects under engine, and they basically do exactly how they sound. All that does is it's text that displays mission complete and then gives you buttons so you can choose what you want to do. Now you can either go to menu, which is literally just a button with a certain sprite that says menu on it. You'll have to make your own sprite. And then on left released, room underscore go to in parentheses main menu. And then we can literally just duplicate that and change the sprite to have go to stage, which has on left released room underscore go to level select. And then of course we have go to next, which on left released we have a slightly different function, room underscore go to underscore next. And there we go. Sorry if that went a little fast for you on the code, but you can just pause it. So what I did was on level select I added a 2 and a 3. And I changed the object's GUI level select. You don't need to do it for level select 1, but for 2, on step event, if global.level is less than 2, you'll change this for every level select, sprite underscore index equals no level 2. Else sprite underscore index equals level 2. So if global.level, as in you haven't gotten past level 2 yet, isn't done, then you have to, that's why we start off at 1 and then we add 1. After you do number 1, it'll be 2. After you do number 2, it'll be 3. And that's how we just add it. It keeps the code a lot simpler, so we associate 2 with 2, not 2 with 1. If we started at 0, we'd be doing stage 2 when we have 1. We'd be doing stage 3 when we have 2. It's manageable but confusing. And then on left released we have the same thing. If global.level is greater than or equal to 2, room underscore go to level underscore 2. So we change the code a little bit, and we can duplicate that and just change the sprite, level underscore select underscore 3, we change the default sprite. Make sure the default sprite is gray, by the way, otherwise you'll have one frame where it's blue and it'll quick switch, and it looks a little buggy to the player. I noticed that. We have if global.level is less than 3. You want to change that, and we have sprite underscore index equals no level 3, else sprite underscore index equals level 3. It's the same code, just change 2 to 3, and you can do that for every single stage. And just have the rooms to do it. So I'm going to save that and go ahead and run the game. Alright, here we go. So we play, and we can't select 2, and we can't select 3, but we can select 1. We have a little cutscene. And this is also where you could put in an object to play your cutscenes, so that your cutscene is a little bit different. Say you need to kill everything over here. And there we go. Mission complete comes up here. You may want to make a different color. I've been doing with the color screen green. It's a little difficult to see here. You have stage select, menu, and next. Going to do next just to display it. And we have this. It's bare. This is the score one where we need ore, so I'll make one of these and get a worker, and that worker I'll now just have gather some ore, and when it's done gathering ore, it needs 300 of it. We know that they do not. That's what you would do in your cutscene. That's why cutscenes are important. Okay. And there we go. So as soon as this reaches, we'll be at 300. Mission complete. Select stage. I already did next. Alright, stage select. Now we can do 1, 2, or 3. And here we go. This is actually completely blank because I never really made it. I just duplicated it. What the hell does this thing do? Oh, that's load game. Okay, so I can quit, and we're all set. And that's basically it. I am willing to entertain specific questions about this video pertaining to how to do certain campaign missions, due to the fact that it can be a little bit difficult with the if statements. One thing I will go over, besides the two I went over, I will answer your questions. Otherwise, coming up, when you select a unit, I want to have its picture come up in the GUI and a number in the corner of how many there are. What that would mean is it would not have its stats, and it would not have a health bar next to it, which is in a lot of games, but it'd be the basic GUI, what you have. If all you want is to see what you have selected, it'd be the best way to go. That's what I would do, at least. Otherwise, fortunately, I'm not going to be getting around to that, maybe later. But that's what's coming up next. It'll show what you have, what units are selected, and how many of them. Once again, if you have requests, please request. There are other requests submitted. I think I have a list of like 3 items long, and if you have anything more, I'm willing to entertain suggestions. Just have to ask. Odds are I will get around to it. So, in the meantime, thanks for watching.